A king wanted a garden. One man stood in the way, so the king's wife had him killed for it. It took her 1 letter and 2 paid liars. And by the end of this story, that king is bleeding out in a chariot. His wife is thrown from a window, and dogs are eating what is left of her in the street. Every word of it was announced in advance by one man standing in a stolen vineyard. This is the story of Naboth, the man almost nobody remembers, whose murder brought down an entire dynasty. You are watching Jesus Tell Tales. If you believe injustice does not get the last word, subscribe and write amen in the comments before you go on, because this story is about what happens when heaven finally answers. Israel was ruled by a king named Ahab, and 1 Kings says something blunt about him. He did more evil than all the kings before him. He had married a Phoenician princess named Jezebel. She brought her guards with her. She had the prophets of the Lord hunted down and killed, and Ahab let her. In the town of Jezreel, next to the royal palace, there was a vineyard. It belonged to a man named Naboth, not a soldier, not a priest, a farmer. And that vineyard was not just land to him. Under the law God gave Israel, land was not really owned, it was held. Leviticus 25 puts it plainly. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. Every family had a portion given by God. You held it for your fathers, and you passed it to your sons. Selling it off permanently was not a bad deal. It was a betrayal of the people who came before you. So when the king came to Naboth with an offer, he was not asking for a field. He was asking a man to sell his inheritance. Ahab was polite about it at first.
Give me your vineyard. I want it for a garden of herbs. It is close to my house. I will give you a better vineyard for it. Or if you prefer, I will pay you what it is worth in silver.
It was a fair offer from a king. Better land or full price. Most men would have taken it. And Naboth said no.
The Lord forbid it. I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers.
Understand what that costs him. He is a farmer refusing the king of Israel to his face. He has no army, no title, no protection. He has one thing. He believes the land belongs to God, not to Ahab, and he will not hand over what is not his to give. Ahab went home, and the Bible describes the most powerful man in Israel, lying on his bed, facing the wall, refusing to eat, sulking because a farmer said no. Then Jezebel came in.
Why is your spirit so heavy that you will not eat?
He told her, and her answer tells you everything about her.
Do you not govern the kingdom of Israel? Get up, eat, let your heart be cheerful. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth.
What she did next was not a crime of passion. It was paperwork. She wrote letters in Ahab's name. She sealed them with the king's own seal. So the order carried the crown's authority, and she sent them to the elders and nobles of Naboth's own town, the men who had known him his whole life. The instructions were precise. Proclaim a fast. Set Naboth up high among the people in the seat of honor. Then seat 2 worthless men in front of him to swear he had cursed God and the king. Then take him out and stone him. She did not just want him dead. She wanted him condemned in public by his own neighbors under a religious ceremony for the one crime that carried a death sentence. And here is the part that should trouble you. They did it. Not one elder refused. Not one of them stood up and said this is a lie. They proclaimed the fast. They seated him in the place of honor. The 2 men stood up and swore, and the men of Naboth's town took him outside the walls and stoned him until he was dead. Then they sent Jezebel a message. Naboth is stoned and is dead. And she went straight to Ahab.
Get up, take possession of the vineyard. Naboth is not alive, he is dead.
And Ahab got up and went to take his garden. He never asked how. He never asked what happened. He wanted the land, and the land was available. That is the kind of evil this story is actually about. Not the queen who ordered it, the husband who did not ask. And while Ahab was walking through his new vineyard, he was not alone. God had already spoken to a prophet named Elijah.
Go down to meet Ahab, king of Israel. He is in the vineyard of Naboth. He has gone down to take possession of it.
So Elijah was standing among the vines when Ahab turned around. And Ahab said the words of a guilty man.
Have you found me, O my enemy?
And Elijah answered him.
I have found you. Have you killed and also taken possession?
Then came the sentence. Dogs would lick Ahab's blood where they had licked Naboth's. Every male of his house would be cut off. And of Jezebel, the dogs would eat her by the wall of Jezreel. Now watch what Ahab does. He tears his clothes. He puts on sackcloth. He fasts. He lies in it. And God says something extraordinary to Elijah. Because Ahab has humbled himself, the disaster will not come in his days. It will come in his sons. Ahab was a murderer who took a dead man's field. And even he got mercy when he actually repented. Read that again if you need to. But mercy delayed the sentence. It did not cancel it. 3 years later, Ahab went to war at Ramoth-Gilead. A prophet named Micaiah told him he would not come back. Ahab put him in prison and went anyway. And then Ahab did something clever. He disguised himself as an ordinary soldier. He let another king wear the royal robes. If death was coming for the king of Israel, death would have to find him first. And a man in the enemy army drew his bow at random. Not aiming, not choosing. 1 Kings says he drew a bow at a venture, and the arrow went between the joints of Ahab's armor. Out of an entire battlefield, it found the one man hiding from it. They propped him up in his chariot so the army would not break, and he bled into the floor of it until sunset. Then he died. They brought the chariot back and washed it out at the pool of Samaria. And the dogs came and licked up the blood, exactly as Elijah had said. And Jezebel, she outlived him by years, until a commander named Jehu was anointed to end that house. When she heard he was riding for Jezreel, she did not run, she did not hide. She painted her eyes and arranged her hair, and sat at an upper window to meet him. She was the daughter of a king and the widow of a king, and she intended to die looking like one. Jehu looked up at the window and called out, "Who is on my side?" 2 or 3 of her own servants looked down at him, and Jehu said, "Throw her down." And they did. They threw the queen of Israel out her own window. Later Jehu said to bury her because she was a king's daughter. But when they went out, there was almost nothing left. The skull, the feet, the palms of her hands, by the wall of Jezreel, exactly where Elijah said. And Ahab's 70 sons were killed in a single day. The house that murdered a farmer for his garden was erased from the earth. Here is what this story is actually saying. Naboth died with nothing. No army, no verdict in his favor, no one who spoke for him. His own town condemned him, and his own neighbors threw the stones. Every earthly court failed him completely, and every single one of them answered for it. Jezebel, who wrote the letter. Ahab, who did not ask. The elders, who signed what they were told to sign. God's justice is slow enough that people mistake it for absence. It is not absence. If you have ever been the one nobody stood up for, understand that the record is kept somewhere else, and it is exact. Thank you for staying to the end of this one. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Jesus Telltales. God bless you.